Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Stadiums of the World. Today we're covering the Panathenaic Stadium, or as some people call it, the Marble Stadium, located in beautiful Athens, Greece. This stadium is a little bit different than the other stadiums that we cover, given the fact that it doesn't have a home team. Like the other videos on my channel, each photo you see today was taken by me or by the person that was with me. Don't forget to write what you like about the stadium in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like many of the stadiums on my channel, this is a very historic stadium. Unlike many of the stadiums on my channel, this isn't just a 200, 100-year-old stadium. This is an ancient stadium built way back in 330 BC by the ancient Greeks as a simple limestone stadium and then rebuilt by the Romans, I believe, in 144 AD as a completely marble stadium. So it's a little bit unique compared to the typical ballparks or stadiums you'd see on my channel. When you're in Athens, the stadium's located not far from the Acropolis, and you can actually see the Acropolis when you're in the stadium, and you can see it here in this photo. You walk up the bleachers, beautiful view of the Acropolis. So I definitely recommend walking around the stadium and come over to this portion of the stadium and look at the beautiful views you get, and vice versa. You can also go up to the Acropolis and look back and actually see this stadium as well. As I mentioned previously, the stadium was built out of marble way back in 144 AD by the Romans, similar to what you see now, but over the years it was lost and a lot of the marble was covered up, and it wasn't until I believe 1869 that this was excavated, and I don't think the marble was really much left of it. I think some of the marble was there, but a lot of it was gone. When the stadium was originally built, it had a capacity of 50,000 seats. And then when they uncovered it in 1869, they had to kind of rebuild it. And when they did that, it had a capacity of 80,000 seats. And I'm not really sure how that was possible, but now today, when you look at it, it's back down to 45,000, which is similar to what it was when it was originally built. This is the only stadium in the world that's completely made of marble. It's a beautiful photo here. You can really see it. There may be marble in some other parts of stadiums, but this one is 100% marble, and it's truly, truly gorgeous. So, and very unique. If you want to see, something that you can only see in one place in the world, come here and see a marble stadium. I'd highly recommend it. When you look at this photo, we have a photo of some of the marble seats, and it says 1896, so obviously these are not from ancient Greek times or the Romans. This is, I believe, right before the first modern Olympics. They put these seats in, so it's not the 2,000-year-old history of it, but it's still cool to see marble seats. What you can see in this photo is my favorite part of the stadium. I walked around kind of the whole stadium, and to me the coolest thing was this opening in the stadium. In the next couple of slides we'll kind of go through that, and it's original from the beginning design. I think, I don't know if it was from the 144 AD or the 330 BC, but you can walk all the way up through there. It's kind of like a modern day tunnel entrance into a stadium, and it'll lead you out of the stadium, and it's really cool to see. And to me, I thought that was the coolest part of the whole stadium, actually. In this photo, it's a view looking down that tunnel. You can't really see what's at the end of the light, but that's where the stadium entrance is. So it's kind of like walking out modern day times, walking out on the football field or whatever, but this would have been for the ancient times. So this was just fascinating to see all the earthwork and everything through here. It was pretty incredible. So as you walk through that tunnel, you go up and it actually turns to the right, and this photo is kind of at the very end of the tunnel where you would be on the entrance from the outside, looking back down into the tunnel stadium. And above you can see a rendering of, I believe, what the stadium would have looked like back in, I guess, 144 AD. In this photo, you can see what the stadium looked like way back in 1869 when they were unearthing the stadium and why they had to rebuild it. It was basically kind of the outline of the stadium. There was marble, but it wasn't the beautiful stadium that you see today. What you see here is basically what the stadium looked like when they hosted the first modern Olympics in 1896. They had to take what they had in the previous photo and renovate it to get it up to what it is now. It was mostly just a hillside with some marble left over, so I think they had to bring in a lot of marble to renovate it and get it up to what it looks like now. In this photo, you can see the Greek national flags, the blue and white that you kind of see on every slide. But in addition to that, you can also see the Olympic flag. And that's not just because they hosted the first modern Olympics in 1896. They also hosted the 2004 Olympics, and they had, I believe, either the opening or closing ceremonies here. I think it was the closing ceremony here. Up until this point, we've mostly talked about the history of the stadium and not really the architecture or the layout of the stadium. One reason for that is there's just not a lot of uniqueness to this. It's a pretty basic horseshoe shape. Not all bad though. Ohio State's football stadium and a lot of famous modern day stadiums are based off this. In addition to the horseshoe shape, the other kind of feature of this stadium is that it's built into the surrounding hillsides. It probably made it simpler to build. I don't know what kind of earthwork they did if it was already laid out like that and they kind of just infilled it with the stadium, or if they actually had to move it. But right now, when you look at it, it's kind of in between the hills around it. As I mentioned earlier, you could see the Acropolis from the stadium and you could see the stadium from the Acropolis. Well, this is a beautiful view from the Acropolis looking back at the stadium and kind of see where it's at relative to everything else in town. And you can see the two hills that it's located in between as well. What? This is Harvard Stadium. What's it doing here? No, I realize it's a different stadium, but the reason I have this slide in here is a lot of modern day stadiums are modeled after the Panathenaic Stadium. I was lucky enough to go to Harvard Stadium and took this picture, but just kind of showing one of the examples of the stadiums kind of modeled after the ancient stadium. So kind of cool to see. And this takes us to the end of our tour today. Again, I kind of end most videos with a photo of myself at the stadium, kind of just showing I'm there. Let me know what you liked about the video, what you didn't like, what you liked about the stadium. Subscribe to the channel, and yeah, let me know what stadium you want me to do next. There's some highlight videos that kind of go over a bunch of the stadiums I've been to, so if you want to write and say do this stadium next, I'll look at the comments and get working on that.